Chief Pluggy's Revenge 3. So, Chief Pluggy's Revenge. Chief Pluggy is a Mohawk Indian. He's a Mohawk Indian. He's a Mingo war chieftain. He was a deflected Mohawk, and he becomes the leader of this Mingo band of warriors, right, in Delaware, Ohio. Current Delaware, Ohio is where Pluggy's town used to be. So, Chief Pluggy's Revenge. This Thanksgiving, we need to talk about the truth, and the truth is the Pequot War wiped out the Pequot with biological and violent total warfare terrorism. Just shitty fucking violence against women and children, against civilian population for political ends. That's what Thanksgiving is about. It's a whitewashed holiday which we celebrate in order to not think about the genocide that was perpetuated on the Native Americans. You have, it's always Indian, Pilgrim, it's always like one group and another group, they came together, had a big feast. Okay, if it's even that equal, where the fuck happened to them? Where are they? It's not 1-to-1. There's none. It's like a billion to zero, It's like 99-to-1. I know Reginald Meeks, state representative of Kentucky. That's the only Native American I know. So, that's something to understand. That is the reason why we have Thanksgivings, to celebrate massacres of Native Americans. They had shit tons of Thanksgiving. They was all for massacring Native Americans. They would get together, give thanks to God, because now the horrible, barbaric, savage Indians won't attack them no more since they murdered them all. Right? That's the best way to make sure they don't do anything to you. Just vanquish everybody. I don't know if it's the Puritans. I think it's the Puritans were Calvinists, so they thought that God had already determined who's going to heaven, who's going to hell. So if they killed, Native American who never been introduced to Christianity, well, they certainly weren't going to get to heaven, right? A lot of times, Native Americans would be praying and doing Christian stuff, but people would kill them. They would get murdered because, first they were passive and humble enough to get murdered. But the people who murdered them would say, oh, Native Americans would never do this. This is a show and it's bullshit. I don't believe what's going on. It makes no sense to me. And they would murder. So they would murder for any stupid reason. But what I want to talk about with the 1621 Thanksgiving feast, because there's lots of Thanksgivings, even Grenada, a little tiny island in the Caribbean, right off the coast of South America. They have a Thanksgiving Day, and just like America's Thanksgiving Day, it's identical, because that was when Ronald Reagan invades Grenada and supposedly saves the country. But again, it's white people killing someone else on their own land, and I think we've established a base there. So we conquered this little tiny ass and the tiny fucking island of Grenada. Ronald Reagan was terrified that the rise of communism was coming up out of Grenada. So he had to fucking bomb them. So that's fucked up that, this tiny ass island would be terrorizing the fucking president like that of the United States. Even more crazy, I guess it makes sense, put a holiday. It's Thanksgiving Day comes right next to Guy Fawkes Day too. So that's another day which is a cover for what the day is supposed to be for. So, they've done that a couple times. Guy Fawkes Day was where they would burn Guy Fawkes because he was a traitor and he almost blew up the British Parliament. So he almost successfully overthrew the government, and because he almost successfully overthrew the government, they had to demonize him. They had to make sure that he was, nobody would ever copy his. So every November 5th, they would have Guy Fawkes effigies. They would have little dummies, and they would light his whole body on fire. They'd have like these little penny candies that they would eat, and then they would sing a song, Guy Fawkes, 'twas his intent to blow up the King of Parliament, and something. And then there's remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. There's no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. So they would see this, you know, this poem, and they'd sing these songs, because Guy Fawkes almost successfully overthrew the government. He is the symbol for the Occupy movement because of that reason. Yeah, because he is single-handedly about, you know, wiped out the British Empire. Like, how close that Guy Fawkes almost got to it. So just like Guy Fawkes Day, Guy Fawkes is a hero, and they try to demonize him. Thanksgiving Day is not a great history for white people to stand up and say, hey, our relations with Native Americans were good or are good. They're not. So, you know, I think new traditions need to come out of it. The Wampanoag, the 1621, there's something that the truth about the Wampanoag. There's lots of truth, right? Squanto was put into slavery, and his entire family and fucking village was wiped out because of the white man. That's why he was by himself. The pilgrim said God sent him, right? He was like Joseph. He was a regular person. Said he come up out of slavery to help Jesus come into the new world, right? So the Wampanoags, 50 years later, they would get into a fight. The Pilgrims and the Puritans and all the fucking bunch of other Indian tribes would fight the Wampanoags, Metacom or Metacomet. So I like Metacom though. So Metacom, King Philip is what they had called him, and actually all these fucking names, we got to start learning the Indians' names. How disrespectful is it that Metacom is the Wampanoag sachem, and the sachem is the leader, right? The president, the king, the czar, the mayor, the governor, right? So the sachem, that's who Metacom is. Metacom is the sachem for the Wampanoag. He's the fucking leader. He's the main fucking dude. And we call Metacom's war King Philip's war. Why? Because we don't want to say Metacom. We don't want to say Indians' names. We understand English and anglicized names. We understand King Philip. We don't understand Metacom. Well, I understand Metacom. Metacom was the sachem for the Wampanoag, so he's their fucking leader. And during the, let's see, it was after the Pequot War. It was King Philip's War is what history knows him, but I think Metacom's War. We're going to go with Metacom's War. That's what the fuck I'm going to call from here till the day I die. Right? So, fuck King Philip. King Philip is a fucking name from England. There was no King Philip. The Indians didn't call him that. That's what the fucking oppressors called him. So, Metacom, during Metacom's War, he was a Wampanoag leader, runs off, hiding out in the swamp, and then Benjamin Church, who was supposed to be this great fucking leader, like the first action hero, is what this one fucker said online. And he's not an action hero. Benjamin Church is a fucking genocidal psychopath, you know, insane person. In times of war, you know, and generally you don't like mass murderers, you don't like serial fucking killing mass murderers, but during times of war, mass murder and serial killers are precisely what you need. So Andrew Jackson, he's a big fucking hero, right? George Washington, big fucking hero. Polk, James Polk, got all the fucking land and shit. All these motherfuckers killed lots of people. George Washington would torture motherfuckers, hang his own soldiers if they try to desert. Try to get out, now you're fucking hung like a rebel, just like fucking King George III would have done to George Washington if he would have got his fucking hands on him. So the Metacom's War, he's hiding out in the swamp, and then the fucking Puritans go after him, and they catch him, they behead him, they quarter him, they, you know, rip his body into pieces, and then when they behead him, they take his head, they put it on a spike, and then they put it in the middle of Boston, and in the middle, I think Salem, but Boston, and they have a pike with Metacom's head, and they have it to show the world for 24 fucking years. 24 years they kept Metacom's head on a spike. So that's the 1621. If you want to make the argument that that was the actual fucking Thanksgiving, that's the one you're going to celebrate, and that's the one you're going to take into history. Well, you're pretending it wasn't to trick the fucking Indians into signing the treaty to give me your fucking land. Oh, you signed a piece of paper, now it's mine. Why? Because they was running around, so they owned it, and yes, they were taking care of the land, so therefore they owned it, you knew it, they signed a fucking piece of paper, now that's not theirs at all. It's coercion, it was asymmetrical, and asymmetrical warfare, the whole fucking thing was asymmetrical. They didn't understand what the fuck they was signing. And you made it all up. What coordinates? What the fuck you talking about? Like, you guys are just making this shit up. And who knows if they fully explained it. So the 1621 Thanksgiving was to take the fucking Indian land, get them to sign a goddamn contract, pretend it was this big fucking festival of fucking food and shit. But really they're just taking their green corn festival. Green corn, I wonder if that's hemp. Indian hemp is native to America. Green corn, I don't know if green corn would be hemp or not. It's probably not. The Green Corn Festival is actual Thanksgiving. It's a fall festival. And they didn't even bring the fucking food. So the pilgrims didn't even bring the food to the festival. They have this fake fucking party in order to take other people's land. 50 fucking years later, they're hunting the fucking Wampanoag Sachem, Metacom. They're chasing Metacom into the fucking swamps, and they're chopping the motherfucker's head off, and they're putting it on a pike for 24 years for the whole fucking world to see. This is how the Pilgrims and the Wampanoags fucking exist, okay? We put motherfuckers' heads on spikes, and we say, this is what the fuck is going to happen to you if you fuck with us. That's the Pilgrim way, right? The great city on the hill, the great Christian city on the hill. We're going to show the whole world how we're actually going to run a religious tolerant society, right? A society of America with all these freedoms and constitutions and Mayflower compacts and Plymouth Rocks not landing on us. So we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on the Native Americans. I didn't land on Plymouth Rock. I'm part German and African. My African part didn't fucking land on Plymouth. Plymouth Rock hit us in the head with the rock, right? Plymouth Rock was hit over my African ancestors' heads. The Germans didn't get here till after the Civil War, so you can't blame the Germans on the Hessians actually were fighting against Washington, some of these genociders. So you can kind of thank the Germans for stopping, the actual oppression. And so that's a little bit of what we're celebrating. The Wampanoags, we actually put the motherfuckers' head on. These are the 1621 feast. If you want to say that that's the actual feast, that's what we did. We killed the fucking Wampanoags. About 50% of all of them about wiped out after the Metacom's War. So Metacom's War, after just 50 years, we didn't have good fucking relations for long. And it was tense the whole time. I bet they was killing them and terrorizing the whole fucking time. The Pequot, especially after that shit that happened after the Pequot. So you have 1621, big feast with the Wampanoags, and then you got the fucking Puritans in Massachusetts Bay Colony fucking wiping the Pequot out 16 years later. So that's one group of white fucking English colonists. To them, it's all fucking English colonists. It's white man, right? They probably were just as fucking racist as the white man was. To them, all white people look the same. So when the Massachusetts Bay Colony and Salem was massacring the Pequot, when the Pequot was being massacred, they probably thought they was all going to get it. And so a lot of the Indian tribes would go up. If any of the Pequot was run to their village because they had no place to go, that tribe would fucking kill them, chop off their head, and then get the head to Governor Winthrop, I think the governor was, of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So they would actually give it to the fucking governor for a tribute. We recognize, we ain't used to you fucking goddamn mafia, fucking terrorists, goddamn genociders. You all motherfuckers don't play around. You all don't just kill, it's not they killed two, so you kill two of them. You fucking wipe their whole shit out. And so to the other Native Americans who didn't have the same power or the inclination, the evil inclination to wipe out a whole fucking village, they started paying tribute and started helping and allying with the English colonists in order to fight some of the other Indians. And yeah, so they, in a way, they were killing each other, right? Native Americans, they turned on each other. which is it's bullshit and racist too, because there's to talk about the Native Americans like one big monolithic group. You're pretending they didn't speak 300 different languages. There wasn't 300 different tribes. It was from North to South America, all over the place. Recent study actually said that Native Americans had European blood in them. So there could have actually been fucking white people here before Columbus. Prince Madoc. I think Hernando de Soto was the first man in Kentucky.